For centuries, Vikings have been remembered as fearless warriors, brutal raiders who sailed across deadly seas and struck terror into Europe. But behind the legend was a life filled with hunger, disease, fear, and death. This is the dark side of Viking raiders, a truth far harsher than the stories we hear today. Before Vikings ever raised an axe, they faced a struggle far more dangerous: survival in their own homeland. Scandinavia was brutally cold. Winters lasted months. Food was scarce. Children froze to death. An entire family survived only on dried fish and thin soups. Most Viking men were not warriors by choice. They were farmers pushed into violence by poverty. Raiding wasn't glory, it was the only way to avoid starvation. And even before the raids began, diseases killed thousands. Injuries festered. Simple wounds turned fatal. This was the world that shaped a Viking raider. Viking raids didn't begin with fire and battle. They began with fear. The journey was the first enemy. Longships were fast, but fragile. A single storm could crush the wooden hull and drag 50 men into the freezing ocean. Many Vikings died before ever reaching a village to raid. No songs were written for them. No legends remembered their names. Every raid was a gamble with death. Popular stories show Vikings as unstoppable warriors, but the truth was chaos. Raids were fast, terrifying, and bloody. Villages burned, people screamed, and battles were unpredictable. A single arrow, a hidden spear, or a collapsing burning roof could kill even the strongest fighter. Many Vikings died in foreign lands, far from home. Their bodies were never returned. Their families never knew what happened. Inside every Viking crew, tension was always present. Greed, jealousy, and fear. Plunder created rivals. Some men hid valuables. Others stole from their own comrades. Mutiny was common. Disputes over loot ended in blood. Leaders were challenged. Friends became enemies overnight. The romantic image of Viking brotherhood hides a darker truth. Trust was rare, and betrayal was deadly. Even the most hardened raider paid a price. Vikings saw horrors daily: burning homes, dead children, and villages destroyed by their own hands. They suffered trauma, though they didn't have a word for it. Nightmares, voices, guilt, rage. Many returned home as different men, broken, violent, unstable. Some drank themselves to death. Others isolated themselves, and many simply disappeared into more raids, choosing battle because they could no longer live in peace. The average Viking raider lived a short, brutal life. Most died before age 40. Common causes of death: infection from minor wounds, frostbite, starvation, shipwreck, raids gone wrong, disease in foreign lands. Even successful raiders rarely enjoyed their wealth. The world they lived in was too dangerous, too unpredictable, too violent. History remembers Vikings as heroes, warriors of strength and honor. But the reality was darker. They were survivors of a merciless world, forced into violence, driven by hunger, destroyed by war. Their lives were not full of glory, but full of suffering, fear, and sacrifice. So the next time you hear stories of Viking bravery, remember this: behind every legend is a human story filled with pain. This is the dark side of Viking raiders.